What are your top 3 Action Bronson New Balances? I'll go first. From top to bottom, the Rosewater, the Baklava, and now these Untitled 990 V6s. What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If it is the first time you're touching down on this channel, welcome to Small Feet, Big Heat. We talk sneakers, we talk streetwear, and everything in between. Before we get into today's sneaker review, do me a favor and smash that like button. The little things go a long way in this YouTube journey, so show small YouTubers some love and hit that like button and leave a comment. If you're unfamiliar with Action Bronson, he's most notably a rapper and show host. I was first introduced to him through Fuck That's Delicious, which is a YouTube food show, but he's also a chef, pro wrestler, and longtime New Balance wearer. So when Action Bronson started to design shoes in collaboration with New Balance, I think all of that translated really well. Obviously, he has a ton of experiences and memories to pull from, and so he's on a really good run with New Balance right now. First things first, this is a made in the US 990 V6. That means 70% or more of the materials that went into this shoe were sourced from the USA. I don't get into the made in US versus made in UK New Balances discussion. I think New Balance in general consistently makes good quality sneakers. Starting from the bottom up, the outsole of the shoe has a few different colors. Nothing too exciting happening here. This aged yellow tan color on the midsole comes down into the outsole, and there's both gray and light blue for the traction patterns. It's the standard 990 V6 outsole. Moving up to the midsole, because that's where things really begin to get interesting. The midsole is segmented into 3 parts. The smallest corner near the back of the shoe is the lightest. It's an off-white color. The next segment is a bit darker, more of a cream color, and the largest segment is the darkest. I'd call it a light tan. It has a progressive aged look that I think is pretty interesting. Aged midsoles, whether it be off-white, sail, tan, none of that is necessarily new on its own, but together having them segmented on the midsole like this and almost a gradient-like effect, I think that's pretty interesting to look at. I'm not tired of the aged look on sneakers just yet. Moving on to the upper, there is some leather on this shoe, but mostly it's a mixture of leather and various synthetic materials. The overlapping white panels on the shoe are leather. It doesn't feel mind-blowing to the touch, but it is a nice smooth leather, and the cutting and sewing of the panels with the white stitching gives it a very clean look. The synthetic overlays are where the colors start to come in. This perforated red material on the upper is a bright red with orange undertones. It's really nice, very eye-catching, very vivid as far as reds go. Those areas of the shoe have a yellowish orange stitching that complements the red. I know stitching color might seem like a tiny detail, but on this sneaker, the tiny details are really what come together and make this a sneaker worth doing that double, triple glance at to see what's really going on here. On the toe box, there's a hit of blue. It's a nice contrast and it's also reflective. Around the top eyelets, there's a wine-colored suede material along with some bright pink leather hits. If you notice that yellowy orange threading is back in those pink areas. Around the top eyelets, there's also gray reflective accents. The New Balance logo is also gray and reflective, with a silver outline on both the lateral and medial sides of the shoe. The New Balance logo on the 990 V6 is a bit bigger in comparison to some other New Balance models. I don't really mind. I think it fits in really well with the design language that they have going on here. Toward the heel of the shoe, there's a black synthetic overlay that wraps around to the back. All of those different panels I showed sit on top of a white, fairly loose gauge mesh. On the back heel up at the top, the mesh is now gray and it's a tighter gauge. Below that is a coral pink hit with the American flag and made in the USA text that's also reflective. The stitching on this coral hit on the back heel is white. So all of these different stitching color choices are being made intentionally because some of them are tonal while some of them are contrasting with the different colors on the sneaker. The tongue is black mesh, and at the bottom there's some more of that pink leather and a gray reflective New Balance hit. At the top of the tongue there's a gray patch with both New Balance and Baklava branding. This gray material could be a suede, but it feels more like a neoprene to me. Either way, it looks fine. Now would be a good time to mention that the colors on the upper are very well placed. It doesn't seem like these colors were just picked at random and then placed at random. It feels like some real thought on Action Bronson's part went into making sure that these colors were placed in a way that made sense. The mesh sock liner and back of the tongue are a nice pop of blue. There's not a lot of padding in this sock liner, but it is a very lightweight sneaker. You could tell that any weight this shoe does have comes from that bulkier midsole. The insoles are plain black insoles with Baklava and New Balance branding and green. These do not come with extra laces. It's just the blue and pink set that comes inside the shoe. Let's get the logistics out of the way and then I'll give my final thoughts. So the Untitled 990 V6 in collaboration with Action Bronson dropped on April 4th on the Specializing in Life website, which is Action Bronson's website. There was a raffle, I entered and I won. The sneakers retailed at $220. That puts them $20 above the normal retail price of a 990 V6, which is $200. I paid $261 after tax and there was no shipping cost, which really surprised me at first, but then I saw that they shipped using USPS. Now, they got here, so obviously I can't complain too much, but USPS would not be my first choice if I was shipping shoes. As far as sizing goes, I did pick these up in my true size, which is a size 6. I would recommend that you go true to size as well. If you're thinking about picking up the 990 V6, they run very true to size. They fit perfectly. Before I forget to talk about the box, we can do that right now. You have a brown plain box for the bottom portion with your regular New Balance label. We got the style number, size, all of that jazz on there. The top lid is a royal blue color and it says Baklava in kind of like a pixelated font. The underside of that lid has like a shininess to it, but that's all that's really going on here. Nothing too crazy. The tissue paper on the inside is a darker blue. It has Baklava printed all over it in like a teal color, and that's also a pixelated logo, but it's not the same as the logo from the front of the box. My final thoughts on the Untitled 990 V6 is that Action Bronson is an artist. He might not be an artist in the traditional sense, but every sneaker he's done feels like a finished canvas. The magic with this pair is really in the final product, how everything comes together, how good they look on foot, the colors, and how that excites me to wear them. But what happens sometimes with art and sneakers is that when you try to dissect it, when you try to break it down, it loses that magic. This sneaker is very much a sum of its parts. There isn't one wow factor, one story, one component that stands out amongst the rest. Its uniqueness comes from how all of the components work together to make a great looking shoe, which to some people means that these are gonna rank lower in their favorite Action Bronson and New Balance collabs. There's no premium suede. There's not a ton of premium, buttery, smooth materials. A lot of the materials on the upper that I showed you are synthetic. While that's perfectly fine for me, I can understand with the state of collaborations and what people expect from collaborations, how this can be underwhelming in hand to someone. I will be keeping these in the collection, but let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section on this new Action Bronson and New Balance collaboration. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, like, comment, subscribe, show a small YouTuber some love. I would really appreciate it. There's a ton of other sneaker reviews on the channel. I just did the Matcha Dunks, the Salehi Benbury 991 V2 Colors Be the Palette, the Union Air Jordan 1 Chicago Shadow. Lots of sneaker reviews for you to check out on the channel. So you go do that and I will check y'all out in the next one.